Home sweet home.
Which one's yours?
Right there. My sanctuary, my party pad.
A lot of people tell you how property investment is a great opportunity, and they're not necessarily wrong, but they're not necessarily right either. Simply put, property investment isn't a must for everyone.
Really?
With the rising costs of property around the world at a rate that is outpacing the growth in average wages, the barriers to entry into the property market are becoming more problematic for a lot of investors. But the truth is, you don't really need it.
But there's the truth and the truth.
If the idea of owning property doesn't excite you, don't do it. Property ownership is a good opportunity. Look, I am a property owner, but not every good opportunity is one that you necessarily need to pursue. You've got to ask what is best for you. Over the life of an investor, it is generally advisable to do both. The reality is property ownership involves more maintenance than owning shares in a REIT, which would also give you exposure to property as part of your portfolio. By REIT, I mean a real estate investment trust.
We know.
So what exactly is a REIT? A REIT is a company that owns and operates income-generating real estate by pulling the capital of numerous investors together.
We got places all over the place.
They're kind of the index fund of property ownership.
That's incredible.
Investing in REITs also provides benefits that individual ownership of property just can't do unless you have a lot of capital.
I'm carrying a lot of money.
The number one reason why REITs might be a better idea for you is the low barrier to entry. Shares in Regency Centre Corporation are trading at $75 each, where the average house price in the United States has exceeded $400,000.
That's a lot of money.
So simply put, you can get started with a lot less money. Another barrier to entry that you don't have to worry about when investing in REITs is that a REIT doesn't care what your credit score is.
So awesome.
So if this is an issue that is affecting your capacity to get an appropriate loan, a REIT might be more advantageous. In the same way an ETF or an index fund gives you great diversification instantly, purchasing shares in a REIT equally gives you access to a large property portfolio. They also give you access to types of property that can simply be too difficult to invest in as an individual. For example, buying shares in Regency Centre Corp would give you access to ownership of neighbourhood retail centres, which individually cost tens of millions of dollars. REITs also benefit from far greater liquidity. Shares in REITs are just that, they're shares. They can be bought and sold at any time during the trading window on the relevant exchange. Selling direct ownership of property, however, can be a long and painful process. The costs of selling property often involve an agent, whereas selling shares in a REIT is a simple, or at worst, the cost of brokerage fees. Another benefit of the high liquidity is that REITs allow gradual buying and selling of ownership. If you were to decide you'd like to realise $100,000 of a $500,000 holding in a REIT in your retirement, this is easily done. However, selling down 20% of a property worth $500,000 is practically impossible, meaning you'd have to sell the entire property. While not entirely different to direct property ownership, REITs provide a more predictable regular income. There are less surprise costs in REITs as it is easier to build costs into strategies adopted by management given the scale they're operating at. The predictability of income is a genuine benefit and you stand to suffer less from disruptions of tenants as you're not really dealing with them. The last benefit that REITs offer compared to property is low maintenance. Don't get me wrong, you can structure your ownership of investment properties in an efficient way to cut down on this, but there will always be to some degree more. If you're like my wife and I, who are thinking about going to the south of France for a year, this is a genuinely important consideration. Shares in REITs just don't have any maintenance or soft costs, whereas we will still have to at least ensure the mortgages are paid each month, the property rates are paid, and the odd things that come up are dealt with.
What a Greek tragedy, honey! Oh my God!
It's not the end of the world, but it's not desirable either. So these are just some of the advantages of REITs that you should be aware of. However, property ownership of course has its own advantages and can be the best option for you. It really depends. So you need to do your research and work out which suits you best.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go? Nope.
I hope that was helpful, guys. As always, please hit the like button, comment below and subscribe if you want to see future content. Thanks for watching, guys.